Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, February 22, 2017, and it is 1:24 a.m. in Birmingham. And topic, bliss, pure bliss. I listened to L.A. MARZULLI on a blog today, and I watched that man cry. And the reason he cried was he experienced something. Well, I took it to heart because I had the same experience less than a year and a half ago. And he claims his lasted 3 seconds. I believe mine was a second. Maybe it was longer. I don't know. But he was in Knoxville, and he was doing a talk on Hear the Watchman, H-E-A-R, the Watchman. And it's a very interesting hour and 40 minutes. And speech talk about Nephilim, and that we are now in the end of days. At the very end, he described something. He cried, and he could hardly speak. And he didn't quite finish what he was trying to say because he was crying. And but he said he was in LA at his home, and he said, I had one morning, he said, I had about 3 years ago, he said, I had something that I don't know what it was. He said, I saw, now you have to picture this. And I pictured it when he said it. Picture a horseshoe. Okay? Now, stand the horseshoe up at an angle, but the open end is down here. And around it are levels stacked upon each other, back at an angle. It's like you're in a natural arena where you speak from here, and everybody up here above you hear you speak. They had these things in the Roman days. These I don't recall what they call them, as we call them auditorium, but they were outdoor, and it was a natural voice box. But it was not only so that you could hear the speaker, but it was also that you could see the speaker. Now, L.A. described it that he dreamed he was on a white horse. He even described the row he was in near the top, in the 4th row down and the 7th horse over. He said there was millions, and we were all stacked up just like this in a horseshoe shape, and right in the center was Christ riding his horse down to earth, and we are behind him. We could all see him. But L.A. couldn't come out with that. He kept crying. And he said, what it is, he said, I felt something. He said, I can't describe it. He said, it's undescribable. But when he was talking about that, then I knew exactly what he was trying to describe. And he was trying to describe bliss, pure bliss. All of us will feel that one day, and it will never end. If you would go to watch that, Knoxville speaking, and it's again about the Watchman. I'm sorry, I already forgot the title. L.A. MARZULLI knocks it out of the park in Knoxville, Tennessee, called Hear the Watchman, H-E-A-R, hour and 40-minute talk, and it's really good. You should hear it. But at the end, he said, I want to tell you something. He said, but I know I'm going to cry. And he kept trying to delay it, but finally he started saying it, and he started crying. And he's like me. When I get really deep into prayer, I get a massive headache. My head stops up, and I'm crying. I don't know why. I get a migraine, a really bad migraine, but I don't stop. I keep it up because I know that's Satan trying to attack me. But when LA said the feeling he had is like, bingo, I got you now, buddy. Because I had the same thing about a year and a half ago. I told my daughter, I you know, I just pondered over it for a long, long time. And I prayed night after night, day after day, God, let me have that one more time. I said, it was so good. And the only way I can describe it, it was pure bliss. Something I have never felt ever. I can take every of the best memories that I have, and I am 60, I'll be 68 in May. I can take every one of my very best memories, and there's some of them in there, I can tell you. Back in my cop days were some of my best. But anyway, my best days, all combined. I'm a pilot. I love flying. Used to bass fish in tournaments. I had businesses. I had enough money. I could do it, and I did it. And I even came in. My best placing was in a small tournament, but overall my best place, I came in tied for 10th, and out of 622 boats, and loved it. But one day I just stopped. I just stopped fishing. And one day I started cutting back on my flying. I love flying. I love flying into the clouds. I got a big kick out of it. And I love to play golf. I hadn't played golf in 5 years, 6 years now. You know, the things I like to do, I don't know why I'm not doing them. And, but one thing, of all the best times I've ever had, beats marrying my awesome, beautiful wife. I mean, look, God trumps. Well, you know what I mean. He's number one. And all that combined, I've never felt that kind of bliss. Never. That second, or maybe it was 3 seconds, I don't know. He said his was 3. I told my daughters mine was 1. I didn't hear his until last night. But it was something I'd never felt. I mean, good Lord. Look, I have migraines, non-ending. And they started when I could not reach the door handle when I was about 4 years old. Really, I couldn't reach up and grab the screen door to let myself into the house. I'd have to pound on the door. There were 6 kids, and I was in the middle. There was 3 older than me and 2 younger. And actually, one of them passed away. But at age maybe it's 3, 3.5. I couldn't open the door, but I'd bang on the door. Mother would come, and I'd tell her I got a headache, and she'd most always bring me a bare aspirin. I'd drink it and go back out and play, you know. And as long as it was dark and we were in the light in the backyard, in privacy, we could play. But I've had migraines since then. In non-ending, they never stop. They may come down to about a 3, but on the average of 7. And I have had 10s that lasted 10 days or longer. But I never missed a day's work in my life with a headache. And I've had bad ones, but it was something I grew up with. But this day, this one day, this moment, I didn't have one. And I felt, outside of that, I felt there was no world behind me, nothing to worry about. There was nothing to worry about. All the weight that I've ever had was gone. All the headaches disappeared. Everything quit hurting, disappeared. And for that second, I felt bliss. And it was a feeling, guys. It was a feeling that I can't describe other than say bliss. There's millions of people that's never had a headache in their life. I've never had an earache in my life. I don't hardly get colds anymore. I haven't smoked since 91, so I hardly ever get sick. But my headaches, non-ending. Right now I have about a 5. But bliss, pure bliss. If I could have a second a day of that bliss, then I couldn't wait for the next day, for the next second. That's how much I would look forward to having it. The day would go by so fast because I'm really wanting this day to get over, and it will. The next day will come when I feel that bliss. I'd give anything to have it, anything. But that is, at that moment, very moment, I think God let me feel what I would feel when I come to Him. And I felt that. LA felt that. And if you hear his description, and if you hear my description, they're the same. And I never heard his until yesterday. Just had to tell you about that, because I know a lot of you have that connection there just for a second. God lets you feel what it's going to be like permanently one day. And I can't wait. And now I feel like we don't have long. It'll be here soon, real soon. Jody Wolf Expoz.